Spoiler alert, the following podcast includes discussions on film that may potentially, intentionally or inadvertently, reveal plot twists, character traits, story details, up to and including endings that might otherwise be considered spoilers. Proceed at your own risk.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic. Dude. Seriously.
Welcome to Moviesucktastic.
Hello, everyone.
I'm Scott. That's Joey.
Hey.
And this is episode 180 something.
87.
87. That's what I meant to say.
I know. Sure you did.
And we are reviewing Halloween 3.
Season of the Witch. Yeah. Yeah.
It's an odd one. But still a personal favorite.
You know what? Absolutely. I actually did not a lot, but more homework than I usually do for this movie. Yes. Now, one of the conversations that we had conversations that we had last week, and just in general, just from us being friends, is that this film feels like a Carpenter film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything just has that Carpenter feel to it, and there's a reason why. And the reason why is because Carpenter, he didn't want any interest in directing a sequel at all, specifically after the first film. So he wrote the second film, and who he originally wanted to direct it was the guy that directed this one, Tommy Lee Wallace. So they didn't get that. They got somebody else. I forget his name. But Carpenter, after the second film, it was financially a success, but nowhere near what the first one did. He said to the studios, listen, I don't want to make another Halloween film that has Michael Myers in it. So it was actually Carpenter's idea to not have Michael Myers in this movie, because his initial idea was to turn the franchise into an anthology franchise. He wanted a different writer and a different director for all of the sequels going forward.
And each one was supposed to have just Halloween as like the theme, is like something happening on Halloween.
Exactly.
Right.
So the thing of it is, and the reason why this feels like a Carpenter film through and through is because he did the music. He did it the same year he was doing The Thing. So if you actually listen...
You can tell he did the music too. I mean, it's just obvious.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, if you pay attention to the music, it has, in certain parts of it, elements that are very similar to the other film he did that year, The Thing. The music is very similar. I mean, it is different. You know, he is, partly a musician too, so he didn't, rip himself off. But it's his style. You could tell that he was doing The Thing and he was doing music for this probably at the same time. And another reason why it feels exactly like a Carpenter film is because he got Tommy Lee Wallace to direct it, who was on set with him. He was an assistant director that helped him make the original Halloween. So Tommy Lee Wallace is one of his guys. The cinematographer, I forget his name, but he's also one of Carpenter's guys. He's done like 4 of Carpenter's movies, all around this time period. So it's like, from everything from the music to the cinematography to the director, it's a fucking Carpenter movie.
Now,
through and through.
And you mentioned that Tom Wallace working on that. He also worked on not only just Halloween. He was on The Fog. He worked on Assault on Precinct 13. He worked on Big Trouble in Little China. So yeah, he's got a long history with. So they're
right.
They're on the same wavelength by this point.
Absolutely, and because they're making films together, it was like a no-brainer for Carpenter to say, "Listen, I want this guy to do it," and the studios said, "Okay, we trust you." And the thing of it is, this film was panned so hard by critics, and even more by fans of the franchise, because no Michael Myers. They were livid, and to this day, a lot of those fans still are. But anyone that has a forgiving heart has to realize that this is a really good movie.
Well, yes and no.
No, there's
yes
more.
No.
There's more good than bad. There really is.
There's a lot going on. Yeah. And, I mean, it's like you kind of wonder if the movie had done well. Maybe they would have done the anthology idea of different Halloween type films, and maybe we wouldn't have had to deal with 5 more Halloween sequels.
Yeah, jeez.
And maybe the remake by
Rob Zombie.
Thank you, Rob Zombie. Maybe they wouldn't have descended into madness like they did. It would have been a bit more closer to home, because it would have been less that he had to worry about. It's one of those what ifs. It's really interesting. And even like at the beginning of Halloween 3, when they're advertising the masks, and it's the big Halloween 3. They show them. It's like right in the film. This is Halloween 3. This is it. I mean, the Trinity right there. I mean, it's. They kind of embedded Halloween 3 into the film in more ways than one.
2 more days till Halloween. London Bridge is falling down. I also heard that they used London Bridge because it was public domain, and they weren't going to get sued.
And it's catchy too. I mean, because you know it, so once you hear it, it's stuck in the back of your head. And, I mean, it stays with you. After you watch that film, especially the ending, that little theme stays with you for the rest of your life. You know it.
It's not like a Miracle Mile type ending, but it will stick with you forever.
And the voice during the commercial, "Hi, boys and girls." Now, I'm kind of upset that that's just the voice of the writer-director, Tommy Wallace, because I'm watching, I'm thinking, wow, it was insight of them, like they get somebody that sounds like a child molester to make this even creepier. It's like, oh no, it was just the director. Oh shit! Get your mask, girls. Get them and come closer to the TV. Closer. So.
I love the commercial too, with like the kids, like the floating heads. It's just like children's heads floating, and then there's like a skull mask on them, or jack-o'-lantern, or a witch.
Now, the film opens up. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna little factoid about the masks. There was a factory that all of the scenes inside of the factory where they make the masks. That's a real factory that makes Halloween stuff, and I actually read that if anyone had because they actually made a third mask just for the movie, and it was a jack-o'-lantern one. But all of the scenes in the movie that took place in the factory where they're making them, they said that if you have a mask, one of those 3 masks, even now, because they sold 2 of them just across the country, that if you have any of the 3, that they were probably made during the making of this movie, which I thought was kind of interesting. So when you see at least 2 of the 3, the jack-o'-lantern one and the skull one, those were real mass-produced masks that anyone could buy at any time. And then, of course, they added the jack-o'-lantern one when they were making the movie. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Speaking of the masks, I'm going to fast forward to the most unbelievable aspect of the film.
Okay.
It's when Tom Atkins...
Can I fast forward to the funniest part of the whole film?
No, I just started.
My opinion?
No.
All right, go ahead. Because the scene's coming up. That's why I was going to mention it.
Tom Atkins is tied to a chair with the skull mask on, and he takes it off of his head, and with his hands strapped to his sides, tosses it onto the security camera. Whoosh. So that the eye holes are like that. Ooh, is that perfect? And immediately I called bullshit. Bullshit. No. It's like 30 feet in the air. You have to angle it just right, and those things, it's not like a hat. They got the flaps on the back. Now, I call bullshit on this. IMDb, somebody put down that it took over 40 takes for them to get it. It's like, no. It took 40 takes until they said, listen, fuck this. We'll just clip it together. We don't have to show it. No fucking way 40 takes did Tom Atkins get that. 400 takes, he's not getting that mask on top of the security camera. Plus, I don't think it would... Yeah, no bullshit. They just cut away. If they took 40 takes and he got it, they're not cutting away before he does it. No.
Right.
Some people are gullible. Sorry.
It's okay.
But what were you saying about the funniest part of the film for you?
All right. Ellie's father. She's one of the main characters in the film.
Yes.
With Tom Atkins, she goes.
She's the only woman in the film that is petite and dainty, and not like a slightly overweight middle-aged matron.
True.
After like the 5th or 6th female you meet, it becomes blatantly obvious they didn't hire anybody that weighs 50 pounds within her range. This is insane.
Yeah. But the scene is on now where her father, it happened already, where he ends up at that garage, and that poor black man has to deal with his shit. And the next shot is him taking him to the hospital, and he's all there nervous, and he's like, my mom always told me that you gotta do for others and all that. And he's like, can I go now? Because the whole time I'm thinking he's like, I just want to make sure you motherfuckers know I didn't do this shit.
Yeah, that's what he said. And that's what, and I even like the part where he says, you gotta help people, be there for people. There's like a pause, unless there's trouble. There ain't gonna be no trouble, is there?
Right. Because
I recognized his...
I ain't going to the fucking clink for this shit.
No.
Because even they have 2 shots of him, okay? Or 3. The him going, there's not going to be any trouble. I can leave, right? And then there's another shot of him when the doctor says, I don't see why not. Tom Atkins. And then there's a shot of him going like, all right, I think I'm in the fucking clear. And then there's another shot of him like running down the hallway. It's like, dude, you didn't do anything. But I understand. I truly understand. And this is 1982.
Old white guy stumbles into my garage, starts dying. They're going to blame this shit on me.
I can't go back to the prison.
I wish they had cut away when the one enforcer, whatever you want to call them, pours gasoline on himself in the car and sets himself on fire. I wish they had cut to the gas station attendant in his car driving away with it happening in the background, like in his rearview mirror. It's like, I fucking knew it.
Motherfucker.
Blaming me for that shit if I wasn't already out of here. Now, I had to look him up because, and they don't really give his name. I mean, if they did, I missed it. But his name in the film is Walter Smith. That's what it is in the credits. Oh, wow. And I had to look him up because I recognize him. I've seen him in something before.
Yeah, he was recognizable.
Yeah, but I everything I'd read that he's in, it's like it doesn't ring a bell. So I probably just saw him and it's stuck in my brain. But what I love is he was in Cutter's Way, which is one of my favorite films.
I love that movie.
And in it, he's black number 1.
When they were still allowed to do shit like that.
Not even black man number 1. He's just black number 1. And in the Incredible Hulk TV show, he played Cook.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
I don't know if he was a cook or just that was his name.
Well, yeah, true. No, I bet he was just. He's like in the kitchen and as the Hulk is destroying a diner. He's like, motherfucker.
Now, looking at this, Halloween 3 is like out of the dozen appearances he made up to Halloween 3, it's only the second time he's had a character with a last name.
Oh, really?
Everybody else is Blade's friend, cook, servant. It's George. So that's
now the scene of where the one guy, one of the henchmen for Cochran.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Real quick though, we get to see him again at the end when Tom Atkins stumbles into the same garage, and then just as he's walking off camera, you hear, "I recognize you."
As he's just handing out candy to kids. It's a wonder he's not tackled on a daily basis. He's just around children, around dead guys that are almost dead. It's just crazy. But anyway,
kids' heads rotting and exploding in my garage. Now they're definitely going to blame this one on me.
Motherfucker. I cannot skate too many times with this shit. They're going to think I did it one time or another.
The whole movie should just be from his point of view. The whole
great.
movie should just be him. You know?
Now, the scene is where one of the henchmen goes in and kills Ellie's father by grabbing the bridge of his head, basically his nose and skull, and it just makes me wince. I'm like, ow.
It's a skull crush, yeah.
It's well, they have the one shot where he's lifting up his nose and it's like it's separated from his skull but still inside the skin. It's just like, ow.
If I can give a brief overview of the plot, as we mentioned, it opens up with an older man clutching a Halloween mask, staggering to a gas station where a bunch of guys in suits are trying to kill him.
Right.
He's then rushed to the hospital where our alcoholic doctor, Tom Atkins...
Which I don't buy for a fuck... I buy that he's an alcoholic. I buy that...
You scared me for a second. Like, come on.
I buy that he's a womanizer. I buy that he's a Dennis Farina body double. I'd even buy if he just managed to somehow be a cop all of a sudden in this movie. I'd buy that. But doctor? No. Maybe a malpracticing doctor. But that's it.
That's a given.
I don't buy that he's a doctor for one. I buy that he went to medical school and didn't tell anyone he failed. And he just got to become a doctor in some shit town. I buy that.
I do like the fact that when we first meet him, he's dropping his kids off at his ex-wife's house. The kids are ignoring him. His wife obviously hates him. And then he's like, "Oh, I have to go to the hospital." So, "Oh, and drunk too, I see." It's like, she has no problem with him driving drunk with the kids in the car. Mind, no, he already dropped off the kids, or he brought presents. Never mind.
No, he can't. He showed up.
When he mentioned that, I was like, okay, she's called him drunk. He's an alcoholic doctor, but we'll kind of forget about that. Right. They also have him, but they follow up. They continue with the alcohol thing to an extent where it's almost like you wonder how far they were going to take it because. Next day, he's at a bar.
Well,
then when he goes on the road, he's on the phone. He's on the phone at the payphone, and when he finishes, he's got a 6-pack of beer waiting on top of the car for the road trip.
Yeah.
And then once they're in the strange town trying to track down this mystery, of course he takes a trip to the liquor store and shares a bottle with a hobo. Yeah, but I know how you feel.
Yeah. All right, total alky. I get it.
Now, and you mentioned womanizer. And that's the other genius part of this character because, all right, so he's a doctor in the hospital that they bring this older gentleman too, that the student guys were trying to kill. He's on duty the night he's killed. That's the end of his involvement with it. But he happens to see the daughter.
She's a nice piece of ass.
Sees her at the hospital. Then apparently he went to the funeral too, which I don't know how often doctors do that, and saw her there. And then she goes and finds him at the local bar.
Right.
Now, he's a doctor, has no connection to this guy or her. She shows him like a calendar that says, hey, he was picking up masks 2 days before he died. That has to be a connection. He's like, yeah, let's do a road trip.
Yeah. I mean, meanwhile, he's as old as her father, but she don't care. Because he could tell she's a piece of ass.
And also, I do want to underline something that they kind of make it like it's a big road trip when they leave to go to where the masks are being made.
Right.
But if the guy, if he ran away on foot from the mask company to the garage where he was attacked, and then from there he was taken to the closest hospital, that would be where they were.
Right. And
that can't be more than a 20-minute drive.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because...
It's not a back drive.
Well, because right before, when she's talking about this factory, she goes, oh, yeah, it's real close. It's not that far from here, she says. And then the next day when they're on this road trip, they're like, oh, you go here, then you make a right there, and then you go there, and then you go down this road. And you're right. They kind of make it like it's this long trip. And she just says in the scene before, it's really close.
It's within ambulance drive visit distance, but it's far enough away that we need to get a hotel room. So here's what I'm getting at. The only reason this guy is involved in this up until a certain point is because he's gonna get laid. He's banging the orphan. This is orphan banging territory. This all that's
is what drives most men.
So
men will do stupid things and put themselves in stupid danger for the chance at a piece of ass.
I noticed that you need a new daddy now. Just
I for the brief moment I did know your father a little. It was brief, but I felt like I've known him all my life.
I can even just all this stuff I can see, him like the scenes they cut out where it's like, yeah, we should get a hotel while we're there, but it's like a 15-minute drive. No, we really should commit to this. We'll stay there undercover kind of thing, I know we should pretend we're husband and wife. It's just what the fuck.
Well, in his defense, he does initially say to get 2 rooms, and then that goes out the window.
No,
somewhere on the drive down, he's like, "Fuck that shit."
No. All right, dude. No. They got the room. They're in the hotel room, and he's like, I could get a different room," which is like, do you want me to leave? That whole scene right there is, okay, 3 steps to augering his tongue down her throat.
No, I get that. I'm just talking about like 2 scenes prior when they're coming up with this master plan to go down there. He says they're going to get a couple of rooms. But what I'm saying is, on the drive down, he's like, fuck that. He's like, no, I'm going to get 1 room, and then I'm going to do some shit. I'm going to convince her. Because he says, well, I can sleep in a car. And she's like, he goes, it's better than this floor. She's like, well, where do you want to sleep? And he goes, that's a dumb question. And he comes over. It's like, first of all, no. Sorry. No. I challenge you to a movie based on how she looked when you challenged me to Going Ape a long time ago. And it was, I challenged you to Heavy Metal because I felt that she looked exactly like the one character, the animated character in the second to last one cartoon, which was like the secretary that got sucked up into space. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that challenge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Have you seen what she looks like now?
No, I did not.
Unrecognizable. So much work as she's had done.
Yeah, it's just not a new story. It's. I would like them to see. I would like to see them remake this and make it so that he doesn't believe for a second that there's anything weird going on, and that he doesn't really care. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get laid. I get a hotel room for a couple nights. We'll play Scooby Doo. Then eventually she'll get bored. We'll get tired. She'll get tired. Well, and then I can wash my hands of the whole thing. No strings attached. I mean, they're close enough. They could have stayed at his ex's house. Really, they didn't need a hotel room.
Yeah.
And so they should have just like played along. Just take it that much further, where he doesn't give a shit about anything until like maybe he like stumbles into like the wrong room with the factory. He said, "Oh, I just need to use the bathroom." Say, "Holy shit, there is this conspiracy here! God damn it!"
It would be funny if they ended up out there and they just ended up going apple and pumpkin picking instead.
And then 3 days later, all the kids are dead. That was weird.
Oh man, what's going on? Including my creepy children. Which is the actor that I challenged you to this. His son in this movie is Joshua James Miller, or whatever, the kid from Near Dark and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I didn't realize how young he was in this movie, because he only did Near Dark 5 years later. So he's only like maybe 7 in this. And then I found out that his father is John Miller, who played the priest Demi, or Father Karras, in The Exorcist.
Oh, okay.
I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that was his dad. And then I also found out that, because I'm doing all this homework, that Jason Patric, the actor from Lost Boys and whatnot, yep. Narc and all that, that's also his dad. I was like, holy shit. I was just like, it's weird when I get into these cycles where I'll click on someone and it'll say brother of, sister of, related to, and then I'll click on, and then I'm just in this fucking endless spiral of, it's like, wow, and then I can't get out of it. Like a job will literally have to come in and be like, shit, I need to leave.
And then you hit Kevin Bacon and you stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
There's got to be a new 6 degrees of so-and-so. He's been 6 degrees of everyone for like the last 20 years.
Oh, I know. Well, just because he's been in so many movies. I don't know. It's just kind of cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
But there's got to be somebody new at this point.
The horror aspect of the film, besides this creepy alcoholic doctor hitting on a newly orphaned young woman,
mm-hmm. Yes,
is the whole thing where these masks are actually a vast what would you call Irish witch plot?
Yeah.
To
with modern technology infused in there, which is always fun.
Always fun. Kind of like Doctor Doom. To sacrifice millions of children on Halloween Eve because they put little microchips, and then they took slivers from the Stonehenge.
Stonehenge, that's right.
Because that's magical rock. And so when they watch it, it causes magical things to happen.
You'll never believe how we got it here, and we're not going to tell you either.
No, he didn't say. I don't think he said. No, he said. He didn't say you wouldn't believe it. He said, "Oh, we had a hell of a time," or something along those lines. We had a time getting it here, I tell you. And
well, didn't he say, and you wouldn't believe it? Didn't he say something like that?
I remember. All I remember is the first part. It says,
I'm almost positive he said we had a time getting it here, and you wouldn't believe it. It's like, okay, you're not going to tell me, are you?
I don't remember that part. But I did like that in the opening when Black Number 1 is at the garage. He's watching TV, and there's a news story about somebody stole a piece of Stonehenge.
It's just missing.
So, that's not going to turn up later in the film, is it?
No. When I saw that, and I'm like, well, I've seen this movie a bunch of times. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, that's right. They do that. Yeah, the old man from RoboCop. He's stealing Stonehenge.
And the only thing you ever see on television is the Stonehenge news report, the Halloween commercial, and Carpenter's Halloween, which they play a couple of times. And Jamie Lee Curtis has her cameo as the operator on the phone.
And she also is the announcer talking about curfew. Curfew, everyone, go home. That's her on there, too. So, her and Carpenter are tight. I mean, he got her to do in Escape from New York and Escape from L.A. Both films open up with a narrator talking about, the perimeter around, Manhattan Island and all that. And then they talk about the same thing with L.A. Both Jamie Lee Curtis. So I'm sure that she, when she was asked to do Halloween H2O, which was her return into the Halloween franchise, I would imagine that she probably talked to Carpenter and said, "Should I do this piece of shit?" And he's like, "Listen, we're good. Just take the check."
Yeah, I'm getting royalties. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Although it wasn't that bad. It was bad, but not that bad.
What are they going to do? Ruin it more? Come on.
And the way they end that one, it's just like, okay, I guess we're done.
I will be honest. I have very little recollection of any of the Halloween movies besides 1 and 3. I don't think I've seen half of them.
I don't think I've seen 2 at all.
I know I've seen 2. I just don't remember jack shit about it.
I don't think I've ever seen the second one ever. Seen the first one, seen the third one countless times, but I don't think I've ever seen the second. I've seen a part of the fourth film, and then I don't think I've seen any of them past that.
I think I'm the same way. I think I saw part of 4 as well. I've never seen H2O.
I've seen the ending to H2O. That's it.
And you know what? For fun, sometime, just like bring up a list of all the Halloween films, and if they're not in chronological order, I defy you to put them in proper order. Because once you get past 4, they just start fucking with the names. 4, 5, it's like, oh, now it's the resurrection, now it's this, now it's a curse, and they drop the numbers to try to fool people. And so now I just can't keep track of the last 2, 3, or 4 of them.
Yeah, no, that's true. Now, it was the 6th film or the 5th film that has some underground or bootleg, like director's cut that they said is supposed to be pretty good, but it's actually not.
I thought it. Someone posted a copy of that last week, and I tried to get it, but it wasn't a complete copy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like the producer's cut.
That's right.
Yeah, it's floating around there somewhere. I'm looking for it.
I think I have it somewhere.
And then I'll have to watch like the movie itself, and then I'll have to watch it again. So
yeah,
I don't know if I'm up for that.
It's funny. The woman that she walks by Tom Atkins, she's like, "I gotta stay in this dump again," like at the hotel. That's Tom Atkins' wife. And what's funny about that is later on, when she's getting her face like blown off with this little microchip with the misfire, he's doing it with Hot Ellie, and she says to him, "What is that?" And he's like, "Who cares? It's his wife dying in the next room." I thought that was funny. See,
now in the movie, it should have been his actual ex-wife.
Well, yeah.
Or like his movie wife. I mean, they can remake this and just take that character down a much darker path. I really would like to see that. They really don't play up as much on the fact that he was taking advantage of this poor young, emotionally distraught, confused girl.
Look at her on the bed. She's like, "Where would you like to sleep?" And he's like, "Fucking, that's a really fucking stupid question." Look at him. I'm surprised he wasn't holding a beer right before he kissed her.
He should have been. There should be empty beer cans all over that place.
Come on, baby. You never had it so good. After he nailed her, he should have just called it a night. It's like, we're leaving.
Well, now, yeah, but I mean, you got to sleep it off, and then.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
you can.
I like when they drive into town too. It's like the sign said "welcome." It said "welcome." Later, people are chasing them down. It's a pretty standard movie shtick. Driving to the town and it's a company town. Everything's weird. I mean, what you call it? The Stuff, and even Return to Salem's Lot. You got that same kind of feel to it.
Oh yeah.
So it's pretty standard for that time.
These little hick type towns, And Carpenter, he really likes these really really rural type towns to film in. They got a lot of like bones to them, character. So that's like in Escape from New York. When he did that, he went out to I believe it was in Pittsburgh. It was definitely Pennsylvania. It was like a ghost town. It was a town that got burnt down, and it never rebuilt itself. So we went in there. They screwed around with the buildings. They left a lot of them as is because they were all fucked up. And he just went in there with a hose and wet the streets real nice so that the camera, the lighting would hit off the ground real nice. And that's a big part of Escape from New York, is like in this rural town that they just redid for the movie. Mm-hmm. You know, it was already destroyed, so it was perfect.
I've got a question regarding the Dan O'Hurley's character, Connell Cochran, the bad guy, the who would later go on to run OCP.
Yeah, in RoboCop.
Yes.
Also known, his billing in that is the Old Man.
Oh, in RoboCop.
That's his name in RoboCop, the Old Man.
Right. It should be in every film. He's an old guy.
Which, I mean, at the time, I think he was only 68 years old when he did that movie.
That counts as old.
Kind of. He was barely cracking 60 when he did this.
He's
but the
dead,
white hair.
by the way.
Yeah, it lived to a nice, ripe old age of 85.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Here's my question. When they take the tour with the Buddy,
Kirby or the Kubas or whatever the fuck they're
named. He plays like the
Buddy and Little Buddy.
Yeah, I think he's probably spent his entire career playing the goofy middle-aged husband with the checker jacket.
Sure.
He has a whole closet full of them. But they're describing. He's like, "Oh, you don't know about Connell Cochran? He's famous." And this is when they're in the room with all the little automatons, the toys. So yeah, he invented the practical joke. He was a huge practical joke maker. It's like, oh, and he made toys too. And I just can't help but feel that the focus should have been on the toy maker aspect. Because okay, when he reveals what's happening, and Atkins says, the big practical joke. It's like, not really. It's mass murder. It's genocide in a sense. That's not really funny.
Well, he's like, it's a big practical joke on the children.
But even then, it's not a practical joke. It's sacrifice. It's ritualistic pagan sacrifice, which he admits. And he has these giant robots he's created, like Gearworks inside, Clockwork Toys, men, so to speak. All of that, none of that really connects to me with, and he invented the whoopee cushion. It just seemed like a weird background thing to harp on when you've got so much going on with ancient mysticism and robot men.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
It was a weird stretch. Yeah. Okay. Here's another thing for you. When Atkins escapes, and he plays his own little practical joke where he gets the mask chips with the pieces of the Stonehenge in them.
Right.
And he has the box. He's gonna throw them down. He sneaks up to the control panel, and he just hits 20 buttons. Apparently, out of nowhere, this is a doctor. Suddenly, he knows how to call up a television commercial on this lab equipment on a loop, just out of nowhere.
It's true.
He just runs up, click, 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 dial, 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 and then the commercial comes up. So how the fuck did he know how to do that?
Well, maybe before he became a doctor. Listen, I'm not buying the doctor aspect. I'm not buying that one either. I agree with you. There's no fucking way. It's like I'm going to...
But again...
Okay, done. No.
But again, we don't know that he was a good doctor. I buy that he wasn't a good doctor.
I told you. I'd buy that him being a malpracticing doctor.
He went to work drunk.
He's one of those doctors that, finger bangs his patients when they're under or feels them up somehow. Like, that's the type of doctor he is. He just hasn't gotten caught yet.
Of course he is, because he sexed the orphan less than a week after her father died, taking her on some wild goose chase to find his killers. Come on. Of course he's banging the comatose patients.
That's what we call the long game.
I do like the scene after the father's killed, where Atkins is sitting on his desk trying to talk to his ex-wife. You know, the little ex-wife humor where she just won't listen to him, and because there's the cop, there's like a firefighter, or was it a fireman or a cop? I think it was a firefighter, and he's standing there with a cup of coffee.
Right.
And like after like a couple minutes of just his wife not listening, ex-wife not listening, he looks at the guy, and the guy just like shrugs, like, "Hey." A little male bonding moment. Yeah, women. And okay, hold on a second. Do we hit the bar scene yet, or are we past that?
Where she recruits him to go to this small town?
Yeah.
Oh, way past it. They're already in the town.
All right. Okay. Most bizarre fucking bar in the world. If you pay attention to that scene, the bartender's got a kid's cartoon playing in the background.
Yep. He has to basically beg him to put on sports. Like, what kind of bar is this?
Yeah, he's got a kid's cartoon playing in the background. He's wearing this like weird mosaic shirt, and in the background there's like classical works of art. There's like murals and shit. Where is this fucking bar?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like why, when they close up on him at the bar, it's like, I swear that's the Queen of England behind him, like riding a pony or something. It's just, what the fuck is this doing in a bar?
It's a classy bar.
It's supposed to be like baseball cards and shit. The fucking, or like ears, but it's just. You know what? It's one of the little things I love about films from this time period is that it's that like just there's such oddities that take place in the films, like the weird bar, that you wish they went on further with, or having the black garage owners, like he's popping up in places, and they never run with it because they don't notice at the time that this is the most interesting part of the film.
Yeah, true. That is true. Here's the scene where he's about to have sex with her.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I could get another room.
I could, but I'm not. Like, he had her whole boob in her mouth in that scene. It's like, wow.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh,
no. Good for you, dude. Although you don't get to see Tom Atkins' face, so it could have been Dennis Farina. We're not sure.
But you do get to see his ass.
You definitely do.
Yeah, one of those classic film.
As a matter of fact, it's coming up now that we get to see his ass.
It's one of those classic. Let me put my jeans on without any underwear scenes.
I wonder how his wife felt about him sucking on her boob. I bet she had no idea that was going on, and he threw in the line when she's dying in the next room of "Who cares?" It wasn't until later that they went to the premiere. She's like, "What the fuck? Really, Tom?"
Yeah, they're melting my face off today. What are you doing in your scene? Oh, nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. Don't even bother coming to set.
Just
you don't.
Glorious breasts in my mouth.
I did read that was the first scene they shot together when they made the film. They had hardly even met before filming.
Oh, really?
So like their first scene together, they didn't even really know each other. She was hired right away, and
of course she was.
Carpenter apparently loved her on the spot. And
who would?
So their first time they met, it's like, okay, now we get to have sex.
It's amazing that she didn't go on to become a bigger star. I mean, she's not a bad actress. She's good looking. It's just I wonder what happened where she did Going Ape, she did this, and a couple of other things, and that was kind of it. So,
well, she did TV and
she was mainly TV, but she didn't go on to do bigger things.
I don't know. It's just not every actress can become.
I love that the wife, or Tom Atkins' wife, she's like fucking with this like little circuit board, like she knows what the fuck she's doing. It's like, you know what? You deserve a laser beam in the mouth.
And of course, what the most maddening aspect of that scene for me was, right?
No.
Trying to figure out what book she was reading.
Oh.
And I could tell it was Carlos Castaneda, but they didn't show the title. I couldn't get a freeze frame with the title, so eventually I had to look it up, and someone posted it online. It's Carlos Castaneda's book. What was it? I had it here. The Eagle's Gift.
Oh.
Now, and Carlos Castaneda wrote books about Indian shamanism, possibly fraudulent. So it was part of me was like, oh, maybe they're trying to allude to the mysticism with Sam Hain and the Stonehenge, and more likely, Atkins' wife brought the book with her.
Yeah, she was probably just really reading that.
That's what I'm thinking. Is like it probably was actually her book because they didn't show enough of the title for it to be a clever. And you know what? If they're starting to film with a news footage of Stonehenge, someone stole it. And I don't think they're going to be clever enough to try to insert shamanism into the movie by having a book cover in a scene where she gets her face melted off. That's not happening.
You know what's interesting? I'm going to look it up because I can. I'll look up Tom Atkins because they always list, who they're married to and how long they were married. It would be interesting to see if it says Tom Atkins married 1972 to 1982.
I don't think they're married anymore. I think she is a former wife at this point.
Let's see. Janice Lee Rogers, March 1986 to present. So
Darn
Stevens is his original wife. So if he got married again in 86, because it has question mark, doesn't know when he got married and when they divorced.
That's great. It's like his current wife is like March 15th, down the exact day. His first wife, kind of foggy. I
bet it was sometime in 1982.
I know exactly when they were married before Halloween 3, and they were divorced after Halloween 3.
That's right.
What else do you need to know?
I'm looking at his bio. It says his favorite of all the movies he has worked on is Night of the Creeps.
Where he played a cop.
Which I believe.
You know what? That's my favorite Tom Atkins film. I love him in that.
That's a great movie. It is really good.
That is a great fucking film. That is, Night of the Creeps is the most bizarre thing in the world. Technically it's supposed to be an homage to like 50s science fiction horror films, but really what it is, it's an 80s horror homage to 80s horror. Yeah. It really is. I mean, if you ignore the fact that, the whole 50s flashback beginning, it really is an homage to horror films of the past 5 years. And it still works.
It really does. I mean, what was it made? 85 86. Or 87?
86.
Was it 86?
Well, that's what it says. That's what I see.
Then 86. It is. No,
but it's such a great film just because of that weirdness to it. It's, every single character has like a horror film director's name, and just fucking great film. Now, again, there's one where they took his character all the way to the, they didn't like half-ass it like in Halloween 3. I mean, he when the kid comes to the door, he's got the door duct tape shut. He's killing himself there. He's loading the shotgun.
Right.
You know what he did? Killed him, buckwheat. Just kidding. Or Spanky, Alfalfa, I forget. Tom Atkins is a great actor. He's a great personality. So when you give him a role that's got some teeth to it, he really just, he's memorable.
Oh, definitely. That's, and I make jokes about him being like a Dennis Farina lookalike, but, or it's stunt double, I mean. But it's kind of true. Growing up as a kid, not that I couldn't tell them apart. Wow, that truck just ran that stop sign. He just ran right, because it's like they're on set. It's like no one's coming, and they know it. It's like he just ran the stop sign. No, but it's always he's always been that actor along with Dennis Farina. It's like I always think as a kid, not now, but as a kid, I always for a split second I'm like, oh yeah, that's Dennis Farina. Oh yeah, that's Tom Atkins. Because they're both similar. They look very similar. They both got the dumb mustache. They both primarily played cops. That don't play by the rules. Yada yada yada. Of course.
But I mean, the fun thing was watching this I hadn't watched it in a while. The first 20 minutes of the film, I did not remember at all.
Really? Oh, wow.
Like the first, like the gas station, the hospital. It's like I don't remember any of this. Holly watched it with you and everyone. I'm telling her, so you know what? I know I've seen this film a dozen times. I don't remember anything before they get to like Crazy Town with the Mask Factory. I don't remember any of this. So it was kind of like watching it for the first time, and maybe that's why it was so fresh. Like, yeah, hey, he's scamming this chick for sex,
and he's winning. He's doing a great job.
And
I love his shoulder pads. I think that's what drove her crazy.
Yeah, probably. And spoiler alert: she's dead at the end. He doesn't have to call her.
No. And doesn't have to call pretty much anybody.
And this is going to sound pretty cold-hearted, but when the kids go at his house, if they didn't get that commercial off in time, they're going to take out the wife. Alimony's taken care of.
Yeah, dude. He can go on drinking, and you don't have to worry about any more phone calls. Like the phone call near the end, is where she just literally acts like a 5-year-old. You're just jealous. It's like, what? What is going on? I'm telling you to take the kids' masks off. Shut up. He actually tells you, he goes, shut up. Take off you're just jealous. It's like, what is this conversation we're having? Jealous of what?
What?
I could be a successful doctor if I didn't have you and alcohol to ruin my life.
You know what's weird? It's like I remember when we talked about Jurassic World, and they had the parents at the beginning, and they're going to get a divorce, and the father was a dick. And I'm like, oh, so why does the father always have to be the dick? Very sexist, because I'm watching this, and I'm like, yeah, no, fuck her. It's not to say, oh, why does the woman always have to be why does she always have to be the harpy and he's like the poor? No, like that moment when him and the fire guy or the cop just like, hey, what you gonna do? Like I got sucked right into that. I had no problem with that. Here's what I have a problem with: when he's sneaking in the warehouse and he comes to that phone and he dials her number. Right. First of all, he didn't even have to dial an area code. He didn't even have to dial out. You mean a factory phone and you don't have to dial 9 to get out of there? Come on,
dude. In the film's defense, we didn't have to dial a fucking area code 10 years ago. Okay,
but that's how close he is. He could have ran home and took the masks off their heads.
That's true. True. I mean, the zip code, the area codes in our state used to be pretty lax. Mm-hmm. Now I got to dial a 9 before stuff if I'm at work, and then you got to dial 1, and then your area code. It's like, Jesus Christ. I used to just be able to type the fucking 7 digits, and I was done.
Oh, when the woman's killed at the hotel, and they come out when he's got his guys there wheeling the gurney into their little ambulance to take it off, and Cochrane's saying, "Oh, we're taking her back to the factory. We have the state-of-the-art medical facility there." It's like, dude, I'm a doctor. You've got her head wrapped in a sheet. You don't do that with patients that are still alive. What the fuck? It's like, come on. I'm not a doctor. I know that a head sheet over the head means you're not rushing her anywhere. Come on, Tom. Get with it. Things aren't right here.
You've been to the factory, Tom. What the fuck? Did you find a state-of-the-art medical facility? No, you did not.
I think
that was before they went to the factory. They're actually, you're right. They're at the factory now.
Now, it was before he went to the factory, but was it after the hobo warned him of the weirdness?
No. The hobo warned him of the weirdness. Then she bit it. Then they went to the factory.
Okay. That homeless guy should have been at the end.
Yeah, right. Him and the black guy.
Again, they lost it.
Just like, man, there's some crazy shit going on around here.
Yeah. Again, little things. I love the fact that the hobo accosts Tom when he's walking back from the liquor store. Like, I saw your bottle there. I thought it looked a little heavy. And Tom's like, yeah, I know what that's like. Here, have a swig. And the guy drinks his booze and he's talking to him. And then he leaves him, goes back into the junkyard, and he's got a full bottle of booze. The fucker didn't even need the drink. He's like, he scammed a swig off of a stranger's bottle when he had a full bottle on hand. Well, that is dedication.
Well, it sure is, because to the alcoholic, it's like, that's a swig I don't have to take out of my own bottle.
like
It's an
there's
extra
a part of me
swig later.
there's a part of me that wishes like that oh, what's his name? Give me a second on that. The guy that did the what the fuck? The guy that did the stuff. Cohen.
Yeah.
Cohen.
Larry Cohen.
Larry Cohen. Thank you. My brain was saying Jerry Cohen. I was like, that's not fucking right. Like in some ways, if Larry Cohen had made Halloween 3 instead of Carpenter, the bum and the garage guy would have been involved in the third act.
Oh, sure.
The hobo would not have been killed by the automatons 5 minutes later. He'd be like, I know what's going on here. Get you away from me, you fucking robots. It just he would have had like booby traps set. It's like, that's it. Things just escalated. Let's get the fuck out of here.
That's
right. Where's that guy? Banging on Tom's hotel door and ruining his chances for a third.
When they ripped the hobo's head off too, it's just like they didn't go through any means to show that it wasn't like latex at all. They rip it off and you see it come up and you just see like the round like shoulder part of the latex that sits on like the mannequin. It's like, wow, you didn't even try, did you?
But then in the long shot, the blood goes.
Yeah, I did like that though. Where it's just like a little fountain of just.
And for a split second, it looked like they were going to sexually defile him first, which I kind of wish they had.
Well, they're looking at each other. Go, should we? Now we're late. We're late. We gotta go.
They force him down to his knees, and they're on either side of him, like this whole Eiffel Tower thing. It's just like borderline, gay rape bang.
Borderline.
Which, well, it wouldn't have been gay because they were robots.
True. Yeah.
There's no such thing as a gay robot.
Yeah, I guess so. There would be no such thing as a straight robot either.
Prove me wrong.
I mean, unless you're watching that John Malkovich movie. What was the name of that one?
Mr. Right, Making Mr. Right.
Making Mr. Right,
which I've never seen because when that came out at that age, I had no interest, and as an adult, I have no fucking interest.
That was like a Showtime special. That was on all the time.
And I know how it ends.
And what's her face? Yeah,
I've seen the ending. I know how it ends.
It's a stupid ending.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. And what's her face? The female, the love interest in that film, from what I understand, is the writer of the movie. Except that she didn't go on to be, as famous and or as written as like someone like Diablo Cody. You would think that that wasn't the first appearance of John Malkovich, but
Anne Magnuson is the female lead, and she's not one of the writers.
I thought
Lori
she
Frank
was
is one of the writers.
Maybe she's one of the producers. Then I thought she had something to do with that movie.
I don't see. Yeah, I don't see anything that Anne Magnuson had to do with as far as directing or writing or.
That's interesting. I could have sworn. All right, maybe not. I could have sworn that she had something more to do with that movie than just
your criticism is unfounded, sir.
Yeah. Oh well.
But actually, the Lori Frank who wrote it didn't really do much after that either. So, I guess you could criticize her.
Mm-hmm. Making Mr. Right. John Malkovich. Was that Malkovich's first movie? I don't think it was.
No.
It's the first thing I ever saw him in. That's why I'm only asking that.
Oh, that's interesting. The guy who wrote the guy that wrote that co-wrote the screenplay. He also wrote the screenplay for Mind Walk, which I liked.
10-year veteran before he made that movie. John Malkovich. He was in a movie called A Wedding, and his credit is wedding guest. It's almost as bad as Black One. Almost, but it's not.
No, it's far worse. It's nowhere close to as bad as Black One.
Uh-huh.
Black number one.
He was in The Killing Fields as Al Rockoff.
Man.
I will say this, though. Making Mr. Right was the first thing that he did that he probably got some recognition for.
Well, mainstream. I mean, as far as like,
Mm-hmm.
Big
then
audience.
Then after that, it was Empire of the Sun, Dangerous Liaisons.
I feel like we're slightly off track here. Slightly off track. I feel.
Aren't we done?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like we are.
Now, here's my question for you. IMDb currently has the rating at 4.5.
It's way too low.
It's unacceptable. I agree.
That's a lot of bitter people. Michael Myers was an Indian. Shut up. Stop talking.
I think the film deserves. And you know what? I like the fact that
I wouldn't go lower than a 6.
I mean, 1982 was a bit early, but I think even in 82, the whole cliche about and the guy keeps coming back was becoming a real joke in these slasher type films. I mean, how many? What Friday the 13th was out by the time in 1982?
The third one, I think, because the first one came out in 80. Second one, they did one a year for a long time. I think it was the third film.
Nightmare wasn't until like mid 80s, right?
84. The first one came out in 84.
So I mean, all right. I mean, so it wasn't as bad as it got like at the end of the 80s when it was a big fucking joke, but it was almost
Part 3 in 3D came out the same year.
See, I think they kind of saw that coming. I think he kind of note the whole idea that this is going to become a big fucking joke. No one's going to pay to see the same thing over and over and over again. I think it deserves a star just for the vision of saying, hey, let's do an anthology of different Halloween stories and not keep bringing back the guy in the fucking mask.
Well, that's why it took 7 years for them to make another Halloween film after this.
Mm-hmm.
Or 6 years. I think the next Halloween film came out in 88. So it took a long fucking time for them to come out with another Halloween movie.
88.
That's why I'll always remember the fourth one as the return of Michael Myers, because it took so long for them to make another one.
And it was the 10-year anniversary too, so that's yeah.
So all right. So anyway,
so I'm saying it deserves at least 1 star because of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go any lower than a 6.
And I wouldn't go any higher than a 6.
Yeah. Although if you tried to talk me into a 7, I probably wouldn't fight too hard.
I would. I mean, you know what? For me, 7 is where greatness begins. 7 is where a film is solid. 10 is epic. 9 is fucking amazing. 8 is pretty fucking
up there.
Good.
Yeah.
7 is solid good. Anything is
7 is like there's problems, but I look past them.
7 is
hard.
That's where 7. 7 is like maybe like the ending sucked, but everything else has to be fucking awesome. Yeah. 7 is where good was where like if someone asked me like what are the like the best films blah blah blah, nothing would be under a 7.
You know what's a perfect 7?
What?
Law-abiding citizen.
Borderline.
I think Law-Abiding Citizen is the perfect example of a 7. Because that ending is so fucking bad.
How about Long Kiss Goodnight?
Yeah, okay. Sure.
I'm a 7 with that. It was fun. It's an action film. Now, is it groundbreaking? No. But is it sucky? No. So I don't think it deserves a 6. Any film with Claude Van Damme from the 80s and 90s cannot be higher than a 6. There's no such thing. There's no Jean-Claude Van Damme film higher than 6. That is the difference between
and that includes Time Cop.
Right. So that's the difference. Time Cop is 6. Long Kiss Goodnight is 7. That's what the difference is right there.
Okay.
Halloween 3 definitely couldn't be a 7, but I'm with you. It doesn't deserve a 5 just because it really tried.
Oh, I'm all on board with a 6 for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to go 6.
6 sounds good to me.
26,000 users reviewed it. Geez. That's weird.
Demo.
The highest percentage for a rating is 1.
Wow.
16% of people said, I fucking hate this film beyond all compassion.
Holy, that is a lot of fucking people that gave it a 1.
The second highest is 12% with a 5. So that's interesting.
Huh.
Now, the lowest demographic is females under 18, average of 2.3, but only 8 of them have seen this film and reviewed it or rated it.
Yeah, I see that.
I don't. No 18-year-old girl should really know what this film exists. I will admit that. As far when you get out of that, the highest demographic is kind of hard to tell.
4.8.
4.6 for males and females, older ones.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and the lowest demographic outside of females under 18 is females aged 18. Young girls should not be watching this film.
No.
IMDb staff gave it 4.8 out of 4. Fuck you, IMDb staff. Really? 4 of you got together and said, fuck this film. It doesn't get more than a 5?
Yeah.
No.
It's okay. It's okay to listen. Back when it was released, I can understand. I don't agree with it, but I can understand that people might have been disappointed in this because they, it's not like the, social media and internet today. You know everything about it before it's released. Back then, there was still kind of, the secrecy when movies were released. People were like, is Michael Myers in this? Is he not? I don't know. The commercial doesn't say. And there's really no way for them to tell until they go to the movie.
Yeah, if you're not subscribing to Fangoria magazine, you have no idea what's in this film until you go to see it in the theaters. Right. And, we're talking the 80s right now. You see trailers on TV. Again, you can't look it up on IMDb. You can't watch trailers on YouTube. So people just go to the theater and say, oh, a Halloween sequel, let's go see that. It's actually very feasible for in the 80s to walk into a film thinking you know what it's about and having no idea what it's about.
Exactly.
So I can see that hurting a film, especially a film like Halloween, where it's not like they just had one Halloween and said, okay, now we're going to try something different. You had 2 that built up this character, and then all of a sudden you just switch gears and said, now we're just going to do something different.
Yeah, I think that film, when it came out, it was the number 2 movie that weekend. I don't remember the movie that was number 1, but it quickly fell. Like, the bottom just gave out on it. It just kept dropping. It's
almost like if they had gotten rid of the Halloween franchise and just called it Season of the Witch, right, it would have done better.
As a matter of fact, the director, Tommy Lee Wallace, didn't want to call it Halloween. He did want to just call it Season of the Witch. And
good fucking call.
The studio said, no, you have to call it Halloween because we just gave you a shitload of money. Well, not a shitload, $2.5 million. But he says, we just gave you money to make this movie. It's going to be fucking called Halloween. And Tommy Lee Wallace is like, no, we should call it something else like Season of the Witch. And the studio ended up winning. John Carpenter couldn't get him to change their mind, and the director couldn't. So that's why it got the title Halloween, even though nobody wanted to call it that.
This is what happens when the studios and the marketing department, make the shots, call the shots.
Yep.
It's the biggest thing about Hollywood. It's an art form that's been turned into a business, and if there's 2 things that do not mesh together in any sense, it's business and art. On that note, we should wrap up.
Let's go ahead and wrap up. All over that shit.
Oh.
What?
Nothing.
You okay?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, good. What? Was it succubus? Oh. Anyway. All right, everybody. Episode 187 of Moviesucktastic. Thank you yet again for joining us. Make sure you go to our website at Moviesucktastic.com. Tune in every week at, not this week, but every week at Thursdays at 8 o'clock. We're doing this one day early this week. Because
I have to go to a poetry reading.
You could have just said you were busy.
I have to go to a poetry reading, Joey.
You can listen to the show live every week at 8 o'clock on Thursdays. You can download all the shows there as well. You can listen to the shows there if you want to do it that way. You can go to iTunes.com and you can do the same thing. You can listen to the shows or download them. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Moviesucktastic. Everything we post there, from movie trailers to just our thoughts, are on the Facebook page. You can go to our Tumblr page at moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. You can also leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. If you want to email us, the address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. And if you want to download the free Android app, you can. Just go to the Google Play Store, do a search for Moviesucktastic, and get that shit. It's totally free, and everything I just mentioned is in it.
Yes.
And if you just do a generic search in your favorite search engine, Scott likes Google.
Google it.
Just do a search for Moviesucktastic, and we are literally everywhere. You'll find any of that. And that about does it. You have any wisdom, Mr. Wilson?
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Yeah, how did he get like 2 channels, 2 feeds to be removed of the 3? He just calls and he's like, listen, there's some serious shit's gonna go down. You need to just remove all of this. And they're like, no, we can't do it. He goes, no, you got to do it. Can you prove it? No, but you got to do it. And they do it. They do it 2 of the 3.
The only thing that intrigues me more than an alcoholic doctor having that kind of sway over television, like networking, is I want to know what channel didn't pull the commercial, because I bet you it was fucking CBS.
Probably.
You know it.
Because, at the time, there was probably only like 12 or 13 different channels.
Well, as far as 3 channels, the main channels was 3. CBS, NBC, ABC. This is before Fox.
Well, you had,
Fox
you had 2 to 13. It's basically all you had back then.
Fox would have run it the next day, covering it in the news.
Yes. All your little bastard children had what coming to them.
This commercial killed millions of children yesterday. Wait again.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, we didn't make it.
If you shut up, we would have. The music was just fading out. Every time.